Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube Live this morning. I am Sarah Simon. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from a very fall-like Appleton, Wisconsin. We survived all of the rain. Oh my goodness. For those of you who are not from Northeast Wisconsin, we have had rain um, since Thursday night, maybe late Thursday night, I think it started raining. So, yeah, it's been like raining nonstop. So, I went out this morning and it wasn't raining. It's very windy, but it at least isn't raining. It's still a little dreary looking, but hopefully the sun will come out later. Good morning, Kelly and Karen and Mary and Michelle and Julie and Amanda and Linda. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for those who have shared and have liked. I really, really appreciate that. I'm so excited to be with you today. We had Jay last week, and oh my goodness, wasn't that card that she did with the votive just so awesome? And really so easy to do. So I appreciate Jay coming and joining. Good morning, Betty. Um, Next week, I will be having my friend Lisa Nealand here, and she's going to be doing her favorite project that she did for her display, which was the Berry Cute. For those of you who love that polar bear, tune in next week because she's going to have a special card or project featuring the Berry Cute stamp set. Julie is excited to see what I have in store for today. Well, I'm going to be using some of the paper that is an online exclusive that I didn't get right away when it came out because I was like, not sure if I like that completely. And then I started seeing some projects with it and I had to order it. And so I'm going to be doing a project with that paper today. And I'm going to be showing you how you can take a layout, a really simple layout, and you can make a bunch of different cards and make almost like a gift pack of cards. So I chose a stamp set, actually two stamp sets, one with greetings, one with some images. And then I use that paper and I use the same layout for all of my cards, but they're different colors and they would make a really nice gift set. So I'm going to show you that today. I also have a fun fold that I did years ago. I think I saw this first from Good Morning Denise. I think I saw it first from Jessica Taylor, who's in the Madison area in Wisconsin. And I made a Christmas card a few years back. And then this year, just like last weekend, I think, Susan Campfield from Susan Stampfield, she ended up doing that. And I'm like, oh, I remember doing that fold. And so I did a little take on that with more of a whimsical, if you are more of a non-traditional Christmas card type person and you want something a little more whimsical, that's what this is. So the last swap that I was in was called traditional or whimsical. And I am more of a traditional. So I made a traditional Christmas card. Actually, I made the card that I made last week. I made 21 of those and shipped them off to Minnesota. But I'm going to be getting some that are whimsical because there are people, and there are people that are out there that like a more whimsical look to their Christmas card. So I'm going to try to, since I did traditional last week, I'm going to try to please those that are more of a whimsical Christmas card type of person. So, a couple of announcements that I have. Stampin' Up! Still has their 35 offer, 35 more for their 35-year anniversary, which means you can get that starter kit for either 35% off, which means you get $125 worth of products for like $63.25 or 75 cents or something like that. Um, or you can still pay the $99 and you can get, instead of $125 in products, you can get $168.75 in product, which is a really great deal. So if you're planning to spend that much money, it's really a great deal to get that starter kit. Now, what this starter kit means is that you don't have to do what I'm doing. Good morning, Michelle. Thank you for liking and sharing. You do not have to do what I'm doing with camps or anything. If you stamp a lot and you buy a lot of products, you would get a discount every single time you ordered. You would get at least a 20% discount, and you don't ever have to do any sort of outside sales at all. To keep that 20% discount, you have to purchase with about 300, at least $300 every 3 months. So it averages to about $100 each quarter. If you decide, I don't want to keep that, I don't want to do that, you just want to keep ordering with me, that's okay too. There is no obligation to continue. Once your quarter is up, you just don't get the discount anymore. Because it is already the start of the fourth quarter, you would actually have January, February, and March to get your $300 in, and that's during celebration. Also, if you join now, you get to order from the spring catalog and you get celebration an extra month. Because as demonstrators, we get celebration already the whole month of December. So we get it December, January, and February. So if you're interested in that and you're not sure what I'm talking about, but it sounds interesting to you, reach out. I'd be happy to get back to you, but it is really like the best deal going right now. Also, I wanted to remind you that I do have my Classic Christmas Craftscapade. I changed the name just a little bit because the person who did my graphic kind of changed it on me. And so I everything was done. And so we are going to be using, it is more of a traditional classical Christmas type cards and projects. It is the weekend of December 1st. You can choose either Friday night, Saturday morning, or Sunday afternoon to participate in this. And it is a great deal. It's actually $55. You do get a half a pack of one designer paper, a quarter of a pack of a specialty paper. You get gems, you get ribbon, you get that to take with you. So you don't need it all for all the cards and the projects. So you get to take a lot with you. You get that framed artwork we're going to be making, as well as cards and gift card get things to give gift cards, a little box to put gift cards in, a treat holder, and you get all of the directions and the dimensions for how to recreate those. So you'll have paper left so that you can actually recreate them if you would like to. I will also be posting, once I know how many people have signed up for that and how many frames I have left, I will be setting up some to-go kits for that sampler. So that will be coming as soon as my registration is complete, which is right at the end of October. And so reach out to me if you would like to sign up for that. It was in my newsletter that I sent out this last week. If you didn't get my newsletter, let me know you'd like to be on my newsletter, getting my newsletters. Okay, let's get some prizes. That's enough business. I'm not a business person, but I like to make sure that you're informed. So last week we made this card. I made this one, Making Spirits Bright, which is more of a traditional Christmas card. And Jay wowed us all with this card that has the little votive behind it. Isn't that beautiful? And then you can see it says Merry Christmas there. So receiving these cards, Jay left this for me. And I have a votive here that I will send with it. Receiving these cards for commenting last week is Betty Rose now. So Betty, I do have your address and I will get those off in the mail to you. And then for sharing, so anytime you share, and make sure you let me know, like Michelle just wrote that she liked it and she shared it. So thank you very much. Anytime you share it, you get put into a drawing and receiving a pack of these adhesive back sparkle gems, which are perfect for the holidays. There's gold, there's like a white or silvery looking one, and black in there. Receiving these for sharing last week is Linda Munes. And Linda, I think I have your address. If you haven't received something from me in the past, let me know what your address is. I did not get a chance to look. It was later last night when I picked all of these and I forgot to go and look. All right, then for placing an order. So anytime you place an order, and I do have this, whoops, it's over here. Everything's backwards for me. I do have this host code that if it's under $150, I would appreciate if you use that because that's what allows me to get all of these prizes. If it's over $150, please do not put that in because you will get host benefits yourself. So receiving this stamp set called Sending Cheer, and we're going to be using this today for our more whimsical card. It has a little gingerbread man and a present and a stocking. So receiving this for placing an order is Shanna Roberts. So congratulations, Shanna. I will get this off to the North Woods for you. All right. I think that's all I have for business. Are you ready to get stamping? I know I am. All right, let's go ahead and flip the camera. I'm also going to turn off my overhead lights only because I get more shadows when they're on. Okay, I'm back. Let's go ahead and take a look at the paper that I'm going to be using first. So this is an online exclusive. This is called Tartan Foil, and it's Lost Lagoon, Pebble Path, and Copper Clay. And then the back has this on it. And when I first saw it, I'm like, that's nice. And then I started seeing some really, really cool designs with it or cards with it. And so I decided to order a pack. So then this week I was looking at, and I don't even remember who the demonstrator was who had done this layout. And I was like, oh, that would make a really nice card set. And I could use this paper for that. And so that's where my inspiration came from. So I'm gonna use the Lost Lagoon, but I'm also going to show you cards that are made with all of the paper because I did make almost like a gift set for them. So this is 8.5 by 5.5. I scored this at 4.25, and again that's Lost Lagoon. And I love Lost Lagoon with Pretty Peacock. So my Pretty Peacock is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And I have a piece for the inside of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. Linda, you just jumped in late. You just won. You won for sharing, I think. Let me look at my notes here. Yes, you won for sharing. So I'll be getting something off in the mail for you. And thanks for sharing again. All right. I have another piece of Pretty Peacock, and this is 2 5/8 by 1 3/8. And then a basic white that's 2.5 by 1 1/4. Now, if you don't like 1/8, just bump that up. So if this is 2.5, bump it to 2 3/4 by 1.5. I know one of the ladies that was at my card buffet said, oh, I get so confused when it gets to all of the eighths of an inch and stuff like that. So if that confuses you, just bump it up by 1/8 of an inch and use the quarters. I have a scrap of white that we're going to stamp our image on. I have a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 inches that is going to be for the inside of my card. I have 2 7/8 by 3 3/4 piece of the designer paper, and I have two pieces that are 1 inch by 3 3/4 inches. All right, I'm going to set all of this aside except for the envelope and our scrap that we have here. The stamp sets that I decided to use for all of my cards are the So Sincere paired with the Rustic Crate. I thought that these two went really nicely together because if you're doing some sort of a gift set for somebody and you want the cards to kind of match, you kind of want to use images that go together and a variety of greetings. And this offered both of those. So those are the two sets that I grabbed for this card and for these cards that I'm going to be showing you. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my stamps in. We're going to do a little die cutting even here. I don't even have, through the magic of TV, having it done. I'm going to be using some Pretty Peacock ink. Oh, and you know what? I also need my little rectangle here. That's also, we're going to stamp on that as well. Okay, so I decided from that stamp set, I was going to use this stamp right here for this card. I've already used the pumpkin one on a card, and so I wanted to use something different and show you the versatility of this set. I'm going to show you one that uses this. So I'm going to show you 3 cards today. We're going to make this one, and I'll show you the other 2 that I made. All right, looks like I have a little bit of paper left over in here. Let me see if I can get my take your pick tool here. Whoops, I got it out with my finger now. All right. Sorry, that was kind of a squirrel moment there. I'm like, saw it and I'm like, I gotta fix that. All right, so I'm going to stamp these kind of these greenery images. Oh, I got a big enough scrap. I just grabbed something out of my scrap bin and I didn't even check to see if it was big enough. Oh yeah, it's big enough. And then this is going to be sort of a thank you card. Your kindness is so appreciated. All right. So that is, oh, and then I needed my envelope because I'm just going to stamp that image down in the bottom here. And I don't even think I want all of it. There we go. That's just going to be a little teaser for them when they get their card. And now I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, and because this is a really bright color, the Wink of Stella will actually take some of my ink and it will um, kind of like spread it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and when I put my Wink of Stella over the top of this, it's actually going to kind of, and I'm going to actually start with this one here because it kind of gets it going. And if you wanted to, you could put a little ink with your Wink of Stella if you wanted to grab it. I thought that it spread about the right amount of ink that I wanted it to spread. Whoops, I just got a little bit too much Wink of Stella right there. Let me just blot this. I'm going to take my shirt and do that, I think. There we go. I'm going to blot it a little bit more. All right, I squeezed it here before I put it out there, and so, oh, I'm getting a lot of it here. There we go. I'm going to have to blot it again. This shirt will go in the wash today anyway, so. All right, so I'm just coloring in with the Wink of Stella where I have all of these leaf images. And it will spread a little bit of the ink just to give it a little bit of color in the inside. Now, if you wanted to add more, let me just show you what you could do. You could go ahead and open up your pad, and I just pressed the top there a little bit. And I'm just taking my Wink of Stella and I'm picking up some color with it. And you could go ahead and color in. So now the color that I'm coloring in here has some glitter along with it. Okay. Normally, if your ink is still pretty wet, it will actually spread when you put your Wink of Stella on there. I had paused a little bit to stamp the envelope and talk a little bit. So I'm just picking up a little bit of ink to kind of just dot in these areas to kind of spread a little bit of that ink. And I'm not going to be too worried about where I got too much Wink of Stella because I am going to cut this out with a die. So I will be cutting it out. I should not have squeezed this. It had enough. It had enough that was coming out before I squeezed it on the side here. I always squeeze it on the side because I've already squeezed it and it dropped right on top of my picture or my image that I was trying to add Wink of Stella to. But this is, and I feel bad because Wink of Stella is one of those things that it's really hard for you to see it on when I hold this up. But there is, and I'll hold this up in just a little bit. There is, and I have a little bit right here. There is a little bit, oh, and I just did it again. When I wait too long, when I hold it for any length of time, because I have so much in there, it's doing that. So let's see here. Let's spread it around a little bit, and we'll add just a little bit to the outside of this here too. All right, and I think I'm just going to leave those ones in the inside that are really tiny. I'm going to leave those alone so I don't keep spreading it. Oh, thank you. Hi, Karen. Hi, Carol. I saw that a couple of you just jumped on here. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Focusing on my Wink of Stella that's a little bit too juicy right now. All right, so there is that. I'm going to close that back up. Put the cover on my Wink of Stella. Put that back. Oops, I don't know where that went. We're going to bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I have the little mini one. Get rid of this. And helps if I have the cutting blades or the cutting pads. All right. And with this stamp set, there is a die that you can just match up on here, and it will cut that out for you. Now, if you like to fussy cut, you could also fussy cut this image out. It isn't too bad. There's a little bit of leaves and stuff you have to go around, but if you leave just a tiny little bit of white around it, it actually cuts out pretty easily. Okay, so there is, whoops, just lost the die, but look at how nice that image looks. And I don't know, can you see that? I think you can see a little bit of that little glimmer that's coming from our Wink of Stella. All right, let me go ahead and get this out of here. It will be coming back for our next card as well. I don't have anything that is through the magic of TV today. All right, we are ready to put this card together. So I'm going to start with the Pretty Peacock layer, and we're going to take our designer paper, and I'm going to flip over. Let me flip this over because I'm going to get Wink of Stella over everything. There we go. And we're going to flip this paper over, and we're going to put the two ends are going to be that side of the designer paper, and then our middle is going to be that color. Doesn't that look cool? So it's just two 1-inch strips, a 2 7/8 inch strip, and each one of them is by 3 and, what did I say? 3 and a quarter? 3 and 3/4? Let me look. 1 by 3 and 3/4. Yep. All right. So I always start by putting my two end pieces. Whoops. I just did that wrong. Let's see if I can fix it up. Let me get a wet wipe. This paper, you can't really see it, but it's kind of glossy. So I think I'm going to be able to wipe this off. I'm just really messing up a lot today. And if I can't, I will go ahead and replace it. Yeah. Okay, look at that. Isn't that nice? You can't even see that I had glue on there. It's a glossy paper, and so it wipes off really easily. Some of you are probably going, you're putting the glue on the wrong side. It's what happens when you talk and work at the same time, right? Make a lot of mistakes. I find that at work too. If the person that I work with, if we're in the same office and we're talking while we're working, I make more mistakes. If I'm all by myself, nobody interrupts me, and I can just stay at my work, I make less mistakes. Oh, you can see the Wink of Stella. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that, Julie. All right, so then we're going to put this in the center. And the reason I put the two ends out is now I can easily center this in the middle. So I can get an equal amount of pretty peacock showing on either side. All right, before I add this to my card base, I'm going to take some of the Lost Lagoon. I think this is called cotton ribbon. What is it called? Bordered ribbon. All right, we're going to take a little bit of that, and I'm just going to wrap it around here for right now. We're going to add a little bow later. And I like to just take some Scotch tape and tape that down because then I know it's not going to go anywhere. All right, so there is our ribbon to bring that Lost Lagoon color in. And then I decided I wanted to raise this up on some dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some dimensionals on here. I don't often put a full layer on with dimensionals, but sometimes when I feel like it's a little bit more of a simple card, that little bit of dimension just adds a little bit more to the card. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take these off. Again, I know you can take your pick tool to do this. I find it easier just to use my nails that aren't very long or fake. And I'm going to go ahead and add this right to the front. Okay, so we're getting there. That's the layout that we're going to be using. I'm going to attach this greeting to some of the pretty peacock, that layer of pretty peacock that we had. And then I'm going to add some dimensionals. And I'm kind of leaving a space in the center for my ribbon to go through so that it isn't uneven. I don't like when my dimensionals set on a ribbon because then it's kind of like they're uneven. And then I'm just going to place this kind of off to the left a little bit. So it's not going to be in the center of that. It's going to be off to the left. And then I found that I wanted to tuck this in here, but because I had those dimensionals, I just needed to cut a little bit of that off. And then that tucked really nicely underneath that little greeting. And again, I'm going to raise those up on some dimensionals. I even covered the Wink of Stella that was bleeding all over the place. I cut some of it off anyway. And then I'm just going to tuck that underneath there like that. Super easy, right? And then I thought I would take a little bit of this ribbon again. Get some of my scraps out of here so you're not seeing scraps all over the place. I'm going to take some of that ribbon. Now you could use a bow maker if you have one. I don't mind making bows, especially with certain ribbon. This ribbon's pretty easy to make a bow with. I just kind of keep pulling on the tails a little bit and then pulling back on the loops of the ribbon until I have them about even and the size that I wanted. I didn't want this one too big. All right, I'm going to cut that off. Okay, and we'll grab a glue dot. And there are a couple of different places I thought about putting this. I thought about putting it right here. And then I kind of ended up with putting it so that it looked like I tied the bow from that ribbon that I ran across here. And I just put it on the side like that. Okay, and then it just needed a little bit of bling, but this paper does, you can see that foil in that paper. So the shimmer and the Wink of Stella on that looked nice. So we wanted to add just a little more shimmer. So I'm using these neutral color sequins. I'd use these on all of the cards as well. And I'm going to use these white ones actually. And here's my take your pick tool. I think I need a new putty and Not getting much out anymore. And I usually put 3 on, but on this one, because of all of this stuff up here, I felt that just these 2 little ones down in the corner here was plenty because there was a lot going on up here, and that just added a little bit to the card. Good morning, Nancy. Thank you, Karen. So that is card number 1. So for that one, I used the Lost Lagoon paper. I used this stamp that's in here. And then the greeting came from So Sincere. And then with the copper clay, I used the pumpkin. I still used the greeting from So Sincere. I used that copper ribbon and I used the copper colored gems that are on the neutral color. Okay, so there's another one. And then for the Pebbled Path one, I couldn't use a greeting from So Sincere because I wanted a Christmas greeting. So this is from Lights Aglow or something like that. And I used the poinsettia image and paired that Pebbled Path with some red. And then, oh, I didn't do the inside of my card. Let's do the inside. It's just going to be a strip. But that, see how you could just make like a gift set with that paper and you could just make 2 of each one. You could put different greetings in here because there are a lot of greetings from this stamp set that would fit on there. And you could just have a nice combination of different cards that you could give to someone as like a little gift. You could either make a little box or you could just tie them with some ribbon and you would have a set of cards that all have the same layout. They're using a similar paper, just in some different colors, and it looks like you've got different cards. All right, let's go ahead and put an inside on this. I completely forgot about that. I decided for this one, I was going to stamp that image again on the inside, but I decided just to put a strip of the paper along the bottom, just like that. So it gave me a lot of room to write my little thank you. And it looks like I have a little bit that I have to trim off there. And if you wanted to, there is another stamp in here that says "So thankful for you." And you could go ahead and you could stamp that as well if you didn't want to have to write a whole lot. And there you go. All right, so super easy, pretty easy layout, just taking some 2 different patterns of designer paper and putting the 2 1-inch strips on either end and then something in the center. Now you could do this with any paper. I was thinking that autumn paper, you could put the one that's a little bit busier in the center, and then on the sides you could have some of the stuff that had some of the copper in it, and you could put that on the side, and it's just a really easy layout to use. So, and it goes together pretty quickly as well. If I didn't have the snafus with my Wink of Stella, it probably would have gone a little faster, right? Okay, so that is card number 1 with a quick and easy layout. Let me switch my bins here. Whew. All right, next we're going to be doing a Christmas card. Get some of this stuff out of here. I know, I got to put it all away. Right after this, I'm actually missing right now a class. I went to a class this summer on coding, and they have like 4 different, every quarter we're supposed to check in with them. And today's the day we're supposed to check in with them. Originally, it was supposed to go from 9 until 4, and then they changed it from 8 until noon. So I said to them, I've got something going on until 9:30, so I can't join you until at least 9:30. So they were okay with that. So we're going to use some of this paper that's from the Merry, Bold, and Bright. Whoops, sorry, I just hit my camera there. But this has really, really bright images. So we've got the little pointy lights, we've got the rounded lights, we've got some polka dots and some really bright colors. It's really bright. Hard to believe this is for Christmas, right? We've got some rainbow stripes. We have some other polka dots with some really bright colors. We've got some stripes with some really bright colors. And then the back has trees and fa la 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 and more polka dots and stripes. And then the one that we're going to use for our card today is this one right here with more trees. Okay, so that is the Merry, Bold, and Bright, which again, this is pretty non-traditional for a Christmas card. But I wanted to give you, for those of you that like a more whimsical rather than a traditional type card, I wanted to meet all of your needs. So this is going to be for our flap. So again, I saw this, and the first time I made this fun fold was with Jessica Taylor, and it was several years ago, and I made a little snowman card with it. So this is going to be, we're going to be using the stamp set I mentioned, Sending Cheer, and we're going to be actually this time using, I should point out, in those last cards, I used the same gems even on this one. I took my Stampin' Blend and took these white ones and just colored them with real red so that I could put some red gems on there. So what's nice about when they have white gems like that, you can color them any color you want. Okay, so I just want to point that out real quick. But we're going to be using the gems that are called Adhesive Back Glitter Sequins. These are very flat. You could put these through the mail and you're definitely not going to have to add any extra postage because they're super, super flat and they are very glimmery. All right. These do have dies that match. And so here are our dies. You can make a little Santa hat. There's a stocking. You can either cut out the stocking or you can stamp it and cut it out. It's entirely up to you. There's a little gingerbread man. All of them have little tags at the top that you could make these into tags. And then they have this tag, and then this is the one that we're using today. That's more of an kind of like an oval shape. All right, let's go ahead. This is a scrap and look at what we're using. So I'm using 2 pieces of shaded spruce that are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I've got 2 of these. What I'm going to do is this is going to be the front of my card. This is going to be the back of my card, but it's going to kind of open up with a piece in the middle that's 3 3/4 by 11, and it's scored at 5 and at 10. Okay, so that's that. It actually goes this way on the card. All right, and then I have 2 pieces of lemon lime twist. Look at lemon lime twist and shaded spruce. Would have never thought to put them together, but they were the colors that were in my paper, so that's why I chose them. These are 4 by 5 1/4, and one of them I embossed with one of our Christmas embossing folders. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, I just stepped in the box. I had my last card in. Oh, this is the embossing folder. It says things like decoration, holly, joyful, Christmas, tree, tidings, love, all different things. And then it has some images that kind of went. It's got presents and they go in all different directions. So you could either do it this way or you could do it that way because some of the words are going to be the correct way. And then some of them, if you did it this way, some of those words would be the correct way. So you could use that either way. Kind of a cool embossing folder that's easy to miss in the catalog. It is on the page that has these things. Okay, so this is where you could find it in the catalog. It's kind of in the upper little corner of it. It's super easy to miss. All right, I have some of our designer paper that's 2 by 5 1/4. Reason I did 2 inches because you can get 6 of them across then, and I just like to keep it so that I can use the most paper. And then this is shaded spruce and it's 2 1/8 by 5 1/4. So it's just an eighth more. And again, if you don't like 1/8 inches, make it 2 1/4 by 5 1/4. It would just be a little bit, this is just going to layer on here and it would just be a little bit wider. You would just see more of the green. It's entirely up to you and what you like. All right, here's for stamping. We have to stamp this. This is a 2 3/8 inch circle punch, and this was from the tags inside of here. All right, let's get our stamps. Okay, I wanted to see what a mess I made on the floor over there. It's not too bad. Everything kind of stayed in except for the stamps fell out. Oh, I've got stuff on my floor so that I can pick them up and put them up here for to use. And I just put that one down on the floor and stepped right into it. All right, lemon lime twist and shaded spruce. Again, never would have thought of putting these together, but you're going to see what this card looks like and it's going to be like, oh my gosh, I would have never thought of that, but it looks really cute. All right, shaded spruce on this little tag. We are just going to stamp for you. Okay, that's easy enough, right? On this, I have to look to see how this is going to go. Yes, it goes this way. Let me think here. I stamped mine after I had it put together. Yes, it goes this way. So on the bottom, I liked to stamp, this is going to be like the ribbon for the present. And I'm actually going to put it on an angle here. All right, and then in the lemon lime twist, we're going to ink up the little present. And I'm going to, there's like a cross in here, and I'm going to line up those stamped images in there. I found it was easier to stamp the ribbon first and then the present after. Okay, and then I'm going to say, open me down here. Let's see if I can line that up. Oh, I did not do a very good job there. Okay, I did pretty good at lining it up. All right, then what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the little stocking. I want to add something to this middle section too. So I'm going to take my stocking, make sure that I get it inked up pretty good here. And I'm going to take the top of my stocking and I'm going to use that in the lemon lime twist. And I can see I've got a lot of ink at the top, so I want to make sure I put this down flat. Did pretty good. And then I thought what I would use was sending cheer. I was going to do no peeking, but then if I do no peeking and open me, I'm like, that doesn't really go together. So I decided to use sending cheer for this middle section. Okay, so that is the stamping we have to do there. I did have a little white piece. Here we go. We're also going to do a present on here that we're going to cut out for our front focal image. Okay, so there's that. And here's our present again. So would you consider this whimsical? I guess I consider things that are non-traditional a little bit more on the whimsical side. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close up my ink pads. I'm going to set this off to the side. And we'll bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine again. I was going to do through the magic of TV, but I wanted to show you how easy this was to cut. Okay, so we have our image, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up. Can you kind of see where you can see in between those? You can see the green. So you want to make sure that that's all lined up so that you can see that, and then set it down. I didn't do as good of a job on the outside one as I did on the inside of lining that up. It's really hard to line things up when you're on TV because I can't put my head right over the top so that you can, there we go. That looks pretty good still. All right, because you can't put your head over the top, otherwise you are going to be seeing my hair and my head. So I go over the top of the camera and I have to look over that. So it's not always the easiest. All right, we are ready to put this together. All right, so I'm going to start with this designer paper, and we're going to layer this onto this shaded spruce layer. Good morning, Elsa. Ah, Grinch Christmas. Yeah, true, Julie. These colors kind of remind you of the Grinch Christmas. And there's some people that do a lot of, it's called punch art, where they take a bunch of our punches and they put them together to form different images. And I'm sure there's probably somebody who has done a Grinch with some of our punches. I'm not good at seeing that. Let me give you an example. I think I have one here. Let me look. I think I have one in a swap card. Oh, I have my swap cards all ready for displays. Okay, so here's an example of punch art. So this is from this stamp set, the little hat, but then I think this is from the stocking of the hat, and this is a couple of circles that they cut out, and then I don't even know where this one comes from. I would have to look. It looks like it's an ornament of some sort. I would have to take it apart. But that's what I mean by punch art. They put a bunch of different punches together to make something look like a Santa Claus. All right. So I'm guessing there's probably one that was like a Grinch out there somewhere. That's why I started saying that. Kind of a squirrel moment. Sorry about that. Went looking for those nuts somewhere else. All right. So we're going to line this up along the side here. And you don't have to put this strip of paper here. You could use the layout that I use. This is the layout that Susan Campfield did the other day, was kind of like this, where there was a strip of paper. So I kind of followed hers. When I did with the one with Jessica Taylor, I just did designer paper here and did like a circle with an image of some sort. All right, this is going to go on my front layer like that. Now you might be saying some of your trees are upside down. Yep, some of them are upside down, some of them are the right way. So you don't have to worry about that paper. You just have to make sure you didn't cut it this way because then they'd be sideways. I cut it this way for my envelope because then it'll be the right way for my envelope. So there is a right and a wrong way. All right, our circle is going to go in here and we're just going to pop up this present on the center of that circle. And I think I'm actually going to go straight on. Let's see, I did that on dimensionals, and where did I put my dimensionals? Let's see, I didn't put them back where they're supposed to be. I have some that I can cut here. Oh, these are actually already cut. So we'll go ahead. I guess they're not already cut. All right, so there we've got a present. And then added to our present is going to be our little tag that says, for you. And I wrapped my silver cord through that little hole. I don't know that you would have to do that if you could just, if you wanted to just tie a bow and put a glue dot. I ended up tying it. I'm going to do it the way I did it just to see, but, or just so I know that it's going to work. But see, I just went like this and then tied a bow with this. Come on. Good thing I don't have fancy nails. I can't function with the nails that I have, and they're not fancy, right? There we go. So we're going to pull on this. I have way more cord here than I need. And trim these. And then we're just going to take a glue dot and put that down there. I think I'm going to make these a little bit smaller yet, so they don't cover all of the bows that are on my stamped image. Okay, and here are my glue dots where they're supposed to be. Okay, so that silver just kind of mixes in with the green there a little bit. And then I took a little dimensional. I think I used a mini, but I've got these out here that I can just cut. And I put that underneath here so that I could control where I wanted that to set. Okay, so there is the front of our card. I do have to add some dimensionals to the back of this. We'll make sure that it doesn't get flattened. I've got dimensional backs here now everywhere. I was doing really good of putting them in my little, I have a little jar on both sides so that I can put those in. And we're just going to set that right there. Okay, so there is the front of our card. We'll add a little bling in a little bit. I'm going to attach this other lemon lime twist layer to that other base. There we go. And then this is going to go in between. So I'm going to take this back layer, this bottom layer, and I'm going to adhere that and center it on that lemon lime twist. Okay, and now I want to just put adhesive on this little strip that's here. So if you need to, go ahead and pull it up so that you can see. And then this has to line up perfectly with this bottom one. I'm just going to kind of line that up and then give that a good press right here. Voila! Okay, so we've got this fun fold that it looks like when you get it, it's just a normal card. And then when you, upon further review, when you go to try to open it, you realize it has to pull up like this to get all of the greetings. So fun, right? I love fun folds. All right, then we're going to take in a little bit of this bling. And let's see here. Take your pick. We will put a couple of these down here. And we'll throw another one up there. All right, so we've got just add a little bit of bling to that. You could also, if you wanted to, if you didn't put a ribbon or something on there, you could put some bling in the center if you did that. Okay, since there's already ribbon on there, maybe you just want to cover up that hole with the bling and then just put that on there. But there is our other card, our second card. And I'm going to go ahead and add, let me get that, I think some of the silver. Oh, look at what I just found. My dimensionals. All right, some of that silver cord just went in this envelope. We'll get that out of there. And let's just add a little bit of that paper. Take your pick tool out of there. And just add a little liquid glue here. And add some of that paper so that it matches our card. Now, I was trying to this morning before I went live, I was trying to make another sample with this fold for you. but I ran out of time. But I think I can show you what I had started. I think I can find it in my mess here off to the right. I left my camera set up in a different direction, which is not where I usually do my lives. But when I have a person coming with me, so I had Jay last week, it's easier for me to do it here because sitting at my desk with two of us doesn't work. And so there is our fun fold. That's a little more whimsical, non-traditional Christmas colors. And then let's see if I can find it amid my mess. All right, we have our tartan foil card. And then, of course, I made a couple of others for you to kind of see the other colors and how they could all be used with that same stamp set. Let's see if I can find what I have started here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's what I started. Lost a Lagoon again. Silver foil, which you can only find in our online exclusives. They're not in a catalog. Okay, and then look at that paper. Oh, I wanted enough of the silver foil to be seen. And then we've got this fun punch that has a snowflake at the top of it. So I used Make the Season Sparkle, and I was going to stamp some snowflakes in the Lost Lagoon color and stamp off of Lost Lagoon and see what that looks like. And then again, connect them the way that we did before. So that's a work in progress. I didn't quite get done. So you can kind of see, I'll see if I finish it for next week. I can show you my finished product when I get a chance to finish it. But I was like, oh, I should have another sample because you don't have to do this strip down the side. So this one I decided just to use designer paper and use a tag on the front, and you could open that up the same way as well. You could do it with almost any card that you have, just opening it up. And then if you have some different images, I thought to put some different snowflakes. There were also some other greetings with this stamp set that I thought I could put in there. And so that was my thought process on all of that. So let's see here. I'm back. All right. Ooh, this is better if I don't put my overhead lights on because you don't see that light in the background. I'm always trying to avoid that. You can still see the string from my ceiling fan. The ceilings are pretty low in here, and so I always have to be careful. If I put my hand up, I can hit my ceiling fan. So I have to be very, very careful. So anyhow, thank you so much for joining me. Lucky me, I get to go sit in a coding class from now until noon. So think of me. I hope that you have a great day. I hope that I've inspired you to be a little creative. Next week, Lisa Nealand will be here with me and she'll be doing something with the Berry Cute. If you have a request of what you'd like me to do, if it's something maybe Thanksgiving that you could put on the Thanksgiving table, if it's gift card holders, whatever it might be, whatever you're looking for, you could post it in the comments. That really helps me out because then I know I'm meeting the needs of my audience. So Lisa's going to do the Berry Cute, and I'd be happy to do something that you want. I did make some ornaments with some hoops. Let me see if I can find, do I have a catalog here? I think I do. Oh, I do not. I thought I had my holiday catalog. Oh, here it is. So in the holiday catalog, let me find it. It's in the in with the nativity one. Okay. Do you see those gold hoops that have the nativity in the center and the star in the center? I got some of those hoops and I've made some ornaments. I've made some with the Noel, but if that's something that you'd be interested, I could show you how to do something like that. Let me know what you think you would like, and I will try to meet something of the things that you're looking for. So I hope that you have a great week. Thank you for joining me this morning. Have a great weekend as well. I get to go to class, and then sadly, our director of faith formation at our church resigned on Monday, and we have class on Sunday. So I had to design a class, and I have to work on that a little bit this afternoon because having all those ninth and 10th graders live on a Sunday morning, you want to make sure that you're giving them something, right? So, all right. Oh, yes, my My son name is Noah. Oh, awesome. Okay, so I will watch for your comments and see what you're looking for, and you have a great weekend.